Let's jump back into XRP here. Got the one-day chart up, and look at that. We're parked at $2.18. Earlier today, things got interesting. XRP looked like a coiled spring ready to launch, then tumbled right back down, copying Bitcoin's nosedive. Switch to the 1 week, and it's obvious we're doing this whole crab walk thing, basically twiddling our thumbs until the next pump arrives. But geez, the pessimism cloud hanging over XRP right now is wild. These articles won't stop popping up asking XRP any chance of touching $3 ever again? That whole doom spiral. But real talk, I gotta level with you. A serious breakout is definitely coming our way. Right now, we're basically Bitcoin's shadow, and Bitcoin's camped out just shy of $91,000. Same head fake happened there earlier too. Climbed like it had somewhere important to be, then face planted. This market's honestly just tease after tease at this point, and everyone's sitting around refreshing charts, waiting for the fireworks to actually start. No kidding, people's patience is running on fumes, just watching the clock, hoping something finally shifts, but trust me on this, when it breaks, you're gonna forget all about this boring stretch. Once the real movement kicks in, the energy that's gonna flood the community, off the hook. Late November was the target everyone circled on their calendars, remember? Now December predictions are all anyone's discussing. We've been camped out in anticipation mode for months and months now. It's practically a script at this point. XRP shows genuine muscle, then boom, some wild global chaos erupts, tanking Bitcoin, and Bitcoin just steamrolls everything else downward. Manipulation accusations are absolutely everywhere in the space right now. My theory: the original Bitcoin veterans are trimming their bags, and the Wall Street suits are quietly hoovering everything up during the sell-off. Alright, so eventually all this turbulence is gonna die down, and once it does, Bitcoin's gonna fire up and start climbing, bringing the entire market up with it on that ride. Now let me show you the fear and greed index. We're at 20 right now, which means the panic is actually starting to melt away, and here's my take on why that's happening. People are finally catching on to the fact that yeah, we just saw this massive sell-off go down, but you know what didn't happen? The world didn't end. Nothing actually broke in the crypto space. All we saw was a big dump, followed by a recovery bounce. That's literally it. Now everyone's just sitting tight waiting for that next major leg up to start. XRP on the verge of 13%, Santa rally breakout, but do not get too comfortable. Exactly what I've been telling you. December's got everyone laser focused because we're coming up on the end of the month fast. But here's the interesting part. This kind of sideways grinding action typically signals to experienced traders that the market hasn't rejected the idea of going higher. It just hasn't decided to hand us that move yet. The entire setup mirrors what you'd frequently observe right before a big surge takes off. And that's exactly where this whole 13% Santa rally theory is coming from. I've been repeating this. The market's been screaming bullish signals for XRP all year long. I literally spent the whole year pointing out, hey, this is the cleanest, strongest chart in the entire crypto market right now. You can watch the breakout setting up plain as day, but here's the catch. When's the market actually gonna pull the trigger on it? That's the question keeping everyone up at night. Odds of XRP having a positive return by the end of the year is now at 69%, so those chances are creeping higher as well. The optimism around a December breakout is spreading fast among traders, but let's be real, we've still got time left on the clock this month. Could be this Sunday when things finally pop off, who knows? Because let me tell you something. When this breakout actually arrives, it's gonna blindside everyone. You'll be minding your business, glance down at your screen, and suddenly XRP is tearing upward like a rocket, moving so insanely fast, you'll barely process what's happening. That's the nature of these explosive moves. Analyst Paul Goldeagle says, XRP is now where Ethereum was in 2017 before a 20x explosion. Here's what cracks me up. Traders constantly pull up these comparison charts, stacking XRP against Tesla's legendary rally, Amazon's historic growth, Ethereum's meteoric rise, or even that bonkers 2017 to 18 XRP bull run. And you know what? The price action right now genuinely mirrors that 2017 to 18 cycle we witnessed. Nothing's really contradicted that forecast, except we've been stuck in limbo forever, waiting for liftoff to actually commence. But hitting a 20 times return, yeah, that's completely realistic for XRP. I'm watching traders call out insane targets like $300 before the ball drops on New Year's. Will we actually get there? Your guess is as good as mine. Remember, the market structure legislation isn't happening in 2025. We're looking at January before it even reaches the president's desk, so that piece is still off the board. What about Ripple snagging their banking license before year-end? That's pretty much off the table now. We're realistically talking early 2026 for that milestone to hit, so what's going to be the match that lights this fire? XRP needs to vanish from over-the-counter operations and dark pools, choking off supply and manufacturing genuine scarcity, which would slam ETF institutions into a frenzy hunting for coins on public exchanges. That domino effect might be exactly what triggers the explosion. Hopefully we witness that sequence play out before we flip into next year. Analyst says XRP is testing everyone's patience and majority is folding under pressure. I've personally watched absolute veterans, people who've weathered every storm in this market for years straight, suddenly bail on XRP like it's nothing. And I genuinely can't tell if they actually believe the negativity they're spreading, or if they've just realized that bearish hot takes generate way more clicks and attention for their channels these days. Okay, real talk about XRP and all the negativity floating around. Here's the bottom line. Basically a masterclass in patience. If you can handle what's happening right now, you're pretty much bulletproof for whatever comes next. I've been saying this forever. Once those dips stop scaring you, you've already won. You're going to the finish line because every single day you hold, your patience gets tougher. So there's this analyst who came out and said, XRP is not bearish in the slightest. Listen, not everyone's out here acting like the sky's falling with XRP. There are people who actually understand what's going on. They're looking at the data and seeing that XRP isn't bearish even a little bit. When you study that chart properly, what does it tell you? It's coiling up, getting ready for a breakout that's coming soon. The only requirement is that you need to be holding when it pops off. What's crazy to me is the number of people talking about selling now and jumping back in later. Friends, that strategy is absolutely the dumbest move you could make right now. Let me be clear with you. When XRP decides to run, it's not going to send you a calendar invite. You're not going to wake up to some earth-shattering announcement that triggers the pump. It's just going to explode, and the majority of people won't be ready for it. Wanna know why? Because they're so consumed by all the FUD that when the move finally starts, their instant reaction will be, oh great, it's just going to dump right back down anyway. No need to panic, and you know what's gonna happen. People are going to bail out ridiculously early because there's going to be a million voices yelling that the peak is here. Block all that out. If you actually want to win in crypto, you need a plan that's yours and yours alone. Something you follow no matter how loud the crowd gets. Here's something interesting. ETFs have only a few options to buy XRP and escrow isn't one of them. There's this whole misconception going around where people think Ripple is just going to ship their escrowed XRP straight to ETF providers like Franklin Templeton, Canary, and the rest. But that's not how this works at all. Chad Steingraber argued that XRP ETFs cannot purchase XRP from Ripple's escrow under current U.S. rules. This restriction stemmed from the 2020